Hello everybody and welcome back to the UKLC. We're going into game number 3 of this series and we've had a bit of a change up as we get ready to go into picks and bans. London are on the blue side, MNM on the red side this time around. And we'll see how that affects the picks and bans and, you know, the preparation for these games.
Yeah, I think for me, out of the gate, I'm expecting MNM to shift their ban focus back onto no name. That is my sort of guesstimation here. I think for London is going to be more or less the same. I don't think they necessarily have to change anything crazy in the bans. I think they're more looking to pick up one of those, you know, key priority picks for them, right? The Gwen,
yeah,
definitely the main champion for me to look at. Things like Tristana, things like Lucian are the ones that I'm looking at London to probably first pick. From MNM, I'm looking at, honestly, you know, Zin's out. Maybe you want to ban out the Gwen yourselves. Yeah, there you go. And then maybe you even follow up with, like, keep the Lee Sin ban. I don't think you necessarily have to get rid of it unless there is something else that takes priority over it. Maybe you think about the Viego. We'll have to kind of see what kind of angle MNM are looking at. But Lee Sin, I think No Name's had such good performances on it that maybe just keep him off it, quite frankly. Even if London don't necessarily flex it anywhere else, just keeping it off the champion and off that comfort might be great. London, going to keep almost the same 3 bans, just in a slightly different order. Ziggs, the Thresh, and this time around the Renekton. They are going to ban out the Seraphine, so that's what they're more concerned about. Viego is up and available if London wants it. That's definitely the pick that stands out to me. A couple of the utility picks as well, if they want to go down that route. But again, loads of options for London.
Yeah, that Lee Sin as well is glaring at me right now, but I think the Viego, solid, flexible pick here. We'll see if Gardonica wants to pick up the Lee Sin as a denial or Aragon, right. To be honest. Someone else could go for that pick, and we'll see what MNM are going to look to do here. They're going to give Vango, the Lucian, and the Diana instantly picked up by Gardonica. And now we're heading back over to London. So very quick rotation there from MNM. It seems like they're prepared for this. And now potential answers coming out in the mid lane here for Beely. It is a rough lane if you do lock in this LeBlanc, but it does have the ability to snowball very hard if Beely gets ahead.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so Beely willing to take this matchup just on the basis of wanting to play the LeBlanc and having, again, comfort for him, the big deal. Now, what do we see come out of the bottom lane? Is it going to be a support pick? Is it going to be an AD carry pick? It's going to be Karma. And of course, we've seen Mankey pilot the Karma. So again, a pick that's not necessarily going to be in Hepe or Aka's hands could also be in Mankey's. So when I say, or I look towards MNM now, I would think about a diving threat or something to facilitate or set up either way. But a dive along those lines, Kai'Sa obviously fits that, but it does mean locking in the Kai'Sa here, you're probably going to see the Leona and the Nautilus removed away on the London front. And as for MNM, maybe defensive supports, but I don't think they really necessarily want to ban out top laners, though they don't have a top laner themselves. So maybe they just look to remove away something like Braum, and then maybe something else defensive, maybe Alistar, but they can also themselves take the Alistar. Instead, however, not necessarily sold that the Viego is going to be in the jungle. So Lee Sin's still going to be removed away here. And honestly, you can kind of get it because you've got the LeBlanc there. So that 2v2 can be a bit scary.
Yeah, I was thinking we might see this Lee Sin here as the ban, but we'll see what the rotation is going to be on the side of London. We obviously know the Jeppe has absolutely loved the Nautilus, and if this is going to be a not AD, but, you know, like a farming Mankey Karma. So like a Nautilus kind of supplies a little bit of engage, because at the moment that's what London are kind of lacking a little bit here. Some kind of snap engage as the Braum gets taken away, and I think we might just see a bit of a handshake potentially on the Nautilus Leona. Either way, Jeppe will be quite happy with whatever one of those he can get his hands onto. We'll see what the rotation is going to be. This final ban is going to be the Wukong denied away from Aragon. Kind of adds a little bit more to that dive. I feel like set's perfect here for Aragon.
Yeah, I will say, however, we're probably going to see Nautilus or Leona come out first.
Yes, I think that's fair.
London are eyeing up a Gnar pick with those 2 bans. That is probably what they're eyeing up here, I think. With the Malphite, with the Wukong. I think they're looking to go Gnar and Aka's, chuck Viego into the jungle. We need some engage for MNM. That's going to be the Nautilus. And then I look towards also Hepe. Probably going to pick up the other side of the matchup on the Leona. So expecting Gnar plus Leona, you get engage, you get front line. I think it's a really, really solid rotation.
What do you make of Rakan?
MNM. I mean,
I think it's too squishy. If obviously we're talking as if Mankey is definitely playing the Karma. But
yeah, Mankey should be playing the Karma, and
yeah,
I think with that in mind, you probably just see Leona. I think Rakan can work, but a little too squishy. The expected rotation for me, definitely. And now I say, Aragon, what are you going to pick into Aka's Gnar? Because a lot of your, what we consider comfort picks for Aragon inside of, you know, things like the Renekton, kind of off the table, and we haven't really seen him be tested in terms of ranged matchups very frequently. Are we just going to see the set come out just because it is that pick? Aatrox locked in. All right, so very forward moving from MNM. There is a lot of aggression in this draft, and I think you can honestly say the same thing out of London in terms of definitely the mid jungle. I think the bottom side, priority to be earned, and the CC is there, but how well is it going to skirmish inevitably into what should outscale the Kai'Sa? And then on the top side, I think the Na'V probably has a pretty good time of it for the first couple levels, but as time goes on, Aatrox probably can start to sort of win the sustain war. And in outright team fights, so many frontliners, so many divers from MNM. I think it's going to be on London to definitely find some solid execution in it.
No, I completely agree on that one. It's a bit of a classic pick for Aragon as well. There's Aatrox in the top lane, kind of playing that sustain tank, playing that front line. I'll see how he pilots it, because obviously both teams, I would say, are kind of lacking, other than their supports, like really solid engage. Because you got the Na'V, which is solid engage, but it's situational engage. You can't always guarantee Na'V's going to have the bar built up. You've got Diana as well, but that's kind of relied more on having a good flank if you're going to pull off an engage on the Diana, because I don't think you want to just walk face first into a Leona and a LeBlanc, because you're going to get chunks before you can even press that R key. So for me, I feel like the supports are going to be very important in this game, because they are that engage. And it's, for the most part, it's somewhat non-committal as well, because you don't have to follow the depth charge. You don't have to follow the solar flare. So we'll see exactly how this is going to go. But I think we're probably going to see these bot laners, or at least the AD carries, just sit and farm. And for Mankey, I think he's probably quite happy with that on the Karma. I think he's quite happy just to catch waves, as once again, we're keeping up the tradition of having pauses in our game.
All right. Third pause in a row. I'm going to call it as time to go off topic a little bit. I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday.
Go on.
And Jake, I want to get your very educated input on this. What's winning in a fight? A grizzly bear or a gorilla? Silverback gorilla.
A grizzly bear or a silverback gorilla?
Yeah. There's only one right answer.
I think it's silverback gorilla, right? Bears are strong, but gorillas themselves are nuts. Like, if it was a polar bear, I'd say a polar bear, because a polar bear are a lot bigger and a lot stronger. Is it brown bears that are actually bigger than black bears, like grizzly bears?
I think black bears are the small ones.
Yeah. Isn't that what a grizzly bear is? No, they're the brown bears, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, that's actually a bit harder now.
That's what I'm saying.
In my head, grizzly bears were the black ones.
I'm talking about like the big, like 1,000 to 2,000 pound, like
a grizzly bear. Absolutely. A grizzly, like a brown bear, can swipe your head off with one swipe of its claw. So yeah, it would absolutely mangle a gorilla. Gorillas are strong, but yeah.
I've had this conversation a couple of times over the last week, right? And everybody just immediately defaults to gorilla. And it's just like, I get it, right? Cousins and all that. But like,
I don't know what I register what you just said.
But at the end of the day, bears are bloody strong and they're massive.
No, yeah, bears are big. I say, because in my head, grizzly were the black bears, and black bears are actually the smaller ones.
Grizzlies. I'm talking about the big, on their hind feet, 9 feet tall, like
Brianna
grizzlies.
Calf having a fight with one of those ones, yeah. Yeah, no, a bear wins that. Bears are strong.
Okay,
if it was polar bear, polar bear, without a doubt, polar bear wins.
Okay, cool. Just before we get out of the pause, because we're going to get into game in a second. Chat, what do you think? Let us know. I want to know. I'll open Twitch chat whilst we're in game. I want to see how many of you are misguided into thinking gorillas.
I can come up with another one.
Okay.
Let's do.
Okay.
Black bear versus a honey badger.
Honey badgers are cracked, man.
Honey badgers fight lions.
Yeah.
And they win.
Yeah.
They win versus like 2 lions, man.
I love our observer. If you think anything beats a polar bear, you need to study up on zoology.
But observer, there is something for beats a polar bear. Man, we don't even need to be in the same continent to beat polar bear. We just drive our car and we beat polar bear in fight.
Oh yes, Beely's got the angry bee. All right, I'm immediately favoring Beely in this lane.
He's Beely mad. No, that was bad. That was.
Okay. Can we sub in Will? Is Will around? Is he?
No, we can't sub in Will.
Can I get him for game 3 on the? Okay, all right. Back to the series. You know, tension, all that stuff. Let's ramp up a second. So we'll do a little dance. MNM just leveled up the score against London. 1-1. We are now effectively in a best of 3. Definitely different looks, generally speaking, in terms of the drafts. More specifically from MNM, I think London definitely on things that we know them for, right? Hepe on an engage support, Mankey on utility, Beely on the comfort of the LeBlanc, No Name on a skirmisher, but that is much of the jungle pool, so can't really take much away from that. And of course, Akka's on his range technology. So across the board, a lot of comfort here for London. So I look towards MNM and I say, okay, should have agency through the mid lane. On the bottom side, they're winning out on priority here, which I don't actually think should be happening. I think this is actually potentially London giving up the priority. I'm unsure because we didn't get a look at the level 1 of this lane. So I would have expected this lane to potentially have priority, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be the case at the level 1. And on the top side, Akka's should shove in Aragon a fair amount, but if we do see Gdanika pay a visit up there, as long as Akka's isn't in Mega, the skirmishes certainly can be MNM favored. So as far as the early game is concerned, some of the skirmishing definitely going to be London favored, at least to me, because I think Viego holds a lot more power in comparison to a lot of the Diana setup. But over time, you have to definitely think about if skirmishes break out on the bottom side, and even in the mid lane, a lot of the consistent damage of having 280 carries should definitely even that one out.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm looking at the production chat because now our producer and our observer are having a conversation about polar bears.
Oh, Vango, able to dodge one of the chains, flashes, but he's on the wrong side of the map as No Name will come in and finish him up. Vango goes down, first blood for No Name.
I think flashes onto the wrong side of the map, trying to make it to his bottom side who had priority and were rotating up. So understand the mindset there. Just gonna have to teleport straight back into lane. Unfortunate, but very good gank from No Name. Punish as well. Follows through on the gank, or the flash rather. So let's pick that one up. And Viego getting accelerated in the early game with that first blood can be very scary. He's also going to have a Scuttle Crab to grab on the top side, but Gdanika full clear, plus a Scuttle. Can be feeling pretty happy about that. Might even pick up the Krugs if he doesn't go for this bottom side gank, as Vango does have priority here in the mid lane, so we could see a 4-man rotation down here. A dive isn't necessarily, you know, off the cards, but it would be a little bit difficult. Looks like the call will just be to take away the Krugs and potentially go for a reset from the jungler.
Vango jumping in, Beely gets chains off, and that's Lucian.
Ooh, okay, so something interesting to note. Vango is actually running Summon Eric. So I had a conversation with him about this because he heard, I think it was you and I on the cast when Vango was on the Lucian. I have to hold this point.
You might have to, because Gad is actually here. They're looking for the chains onto him. He dashes to safety, and here's Karma. It's hard to kill anyone here. They're going for the flash onto Vango, though. Remember, he's flashless. Beely secures the kill. Lovely play in the mid lane.
So, good punish, good return gank there from No Name. Does manage to help lock that one down. Beely gets the kill credit, so nice that the kills are being spread around, and also going to be able to pick up the chicken camp on the backside of the gank. So, double takeaway there from London, and very nice. So, was speaking with him about it. Saw Showmaker doing it over in the LCK. With this Leaf Alley build, as you can see, he's got the Muramana, or the Tear of the Goddess, sorry, in his inventory stacking up. And it's effectively the same build that you'll see things like the Jace run with. Muramana, Eclipse, and honestly, it deals a lot of damage. I'm unsure about some of the potency in lane when it comes to, you know, the rune itself. However, if you're talking about culling someone down or some of these squishies down, Leaf Alley with the Muramana does a whole bunch of damage. I haven't crunched the numbers on it, but I imagine it won't deal necessarily as much consistent damage as per se a traditional AD carry build, right? You know, Gale Force, Kraken Slayer, whatever. But talking about sheer burst, it will definitely get the job done. And when you've got Joppa already as an AD carry, it won't be too bad. Engage on the mid lane, but... Yeah,
they do find Vango, but he's able to get away his clocks. They look for a quick turnaround.
Yeah. As a...
now has to be careful. They're looking for the stun with a Spectral Maw. Jeppe flashes in, and the Shield of Daybreak will lock him down. No Name on a killing spree right now. 2-0-1.
Yeah, MNM honestly look a little bit lost right now. In general, kind of dawdling around a bit. Don't necessarily feel super on point, but London definitely coming out here, picking off members on vision. Doing a great job of repeat ganking Van Gogh too. And just generally speaking, playing around this mid lane, making plays around mid, making sure that the plays are happening within the vicinity so that BD can always rotate over. Van Gogh trying to do a bait job, but I think he's almost in lethal range.
Yeah, he honestly, if he had that W, he would have died before Clocks was able to find the turnaround for him.
Yeah, so definitely interesting. I think when it comes to some of the scaling, however, you have to remember, London don't have a traditional AD carry on their team.
Oh.
Yeah.
But a traditional AD carry getting turned around here onto here as he's looking for the damage onto Jeppe. Not going to quite hit it as No Name spots out Clocks and coming in with a Spectral Maw to the wall.
Moonfall 3.
Moonfall onto 3. And Gad is going low, but Jeppe will be the first victim of the fight. Gad able to pick him up as here's the heartbreak. Here's the reset from No Name. Clocks being chased down. The Spectral Maw comes in and he steals yet another form. No Name finds a double kill.
No Name has just been playing out of his mind these last couple of days. Semis, tiebreaker, back end of the split as well. 4-0-1 on the Viego right now. Having an absolutely fantastic series. Get the replay of this skirmish. 3-3, not too terrible. The exhaust comes in clutch though. Really does reduce so much of the damage from that 3-man Moonfall. They do pick up Hepe, but the root manages to come through and that sets up a very easy Heartbreaker. Nice Killer Instinct away from the damage of both Mankey and No Name. Does leave Clocks kind of vulnerable. Means that he also drops for another kill. Now Divine Thunderer, 8 minutes into the game. Oof. Picked up for this Viego. He is so damn strong. MNM have to really think about who and where they pick their skirmishes with.
Oh, if they hit the chains, if they hit the chains, it's double chains time for Van Gogh. Rooted up, locked down, and popped as Jeppe will secure the kill. It'll be a plate as well. Lovely stuff in the mid lane here from London with this LeBlanc pick. And before we talk about that, I do want to quickly get the census from Twitch chat on the Gorilla versus...
I forgot to open the chat. No, because he was talking.
Fool.
Wait, man. Did I get there in time? No, I got here. Let's see. Let me know if something happens because... All right, so I've got a couple of gorillas.
I'll yell at you if stuff happens. You can have a little bit of a read through.
Yeah.
Rift Herald getting taken by No Name. Kind of expected with the amount of pressure they've got mid and jungle right now. Aragon and Akaz, it's been a pretty calm one since the beginning of the game, but since the beginning of the series, but Akaz has been able to pull himself a CS lead over Aragon in this game, and Aragon is kind of victim to the weak side as multiple members are roaming up through that jungle, looking to hunt Aragon down. Billy going to pop that blast going and spotted out by the control ward, so Aragon knows that this play is going on, and they may just look to put the Rift Herald straight down here and threaten this potential tower, as Aragon has to be careful.
Oh.
He's actually able to catch on to No Name.
If he commits forward,
Spectral Maw. If they can find it, they can't. Aragon, well, the World Ender on feels pretty comfortable to be able to avoid everything. And MNM actually bring up multiple members. And now No Name, I think you've been a little bit too overeager, mate. Got the culling, clipping him away, but we're not quite at that grudge point where he's going to get perma-slowed.
Yeah, no. So MNM not quite quick enough to respond to the topside play, and they also don't really make anything happen on the cross map. So Aragon just kind of gets punished a bit. Loses a wave, loses plate as well. Nice little bit of usage of time by London. And Van Gogh also rotated up to the top side, so just falls further behind on the bottom side. Akaz, this is a straight 1v1.
Yeah, there's a lot of sustain from Aragon though, so it does make it hard with him landing all of those darkened blades, but Akaz able to chunk him out and walk away happy with that one. Even through the Ninja Tabby, it's just not enough to be able to sustain what Akaz is currently able to do here on the Gnar. Jeppe, once again, maybe looking for the solar flare onto Van Gogh. The chains get dodged, and so does the dredge line.
Yeah. Cookie cutter stuff, though. Really left it to the last second. Go back to that distortion. Even if he gets hooked, though, I'm not entirely sure he would have actually been knocked down. Herald summoned in the mid lane, and I think with Van Gogh's HP value, they might have to give this one up. I've never seen a Herald get dredge lined before. Oh,
it's almost dead. It's almost dead.
They got it. Wow.
No Name, you absolute fool. That is so unlucky as Beely jumped away. Death charge gonna land onto Jeppe. And what's happened there? That was the buggiest hook I've ever seen. No Name able to survive though, so it doesn't quite matter as they do look for the quick turnaround to Gadonica. Teleport's coming in, the backup is here. Mankey's trying to keep his jungler alive. No Name's finding those Heartbreaker resets. Vango's gonna get popped. Spectral Morph Flash comes down and he locks in Aragon. No Name is unstoppable. And Joppa has all of his friends in the grey screen as he will join them beyond the grave. It's an ace for London.
5 for 1. I believe Jeppe died at the start of that fight. MNM are getting absolutely clapped across the board in this one. No Name, like you said, unstoppable, much like the spree that he is on. It's a nice turnaround initially from MNM, quite frankly. And then they feel like because of the hook here onto No Name that they can potentially go a little bit further. But unfortunately, the damage just isn't really there to lock down No Name. And the damage that's immediately put down onto Joppa and also Gadonica over the wall from Beely is enough to give No Name that first reset. And as soon as that happens, all the AoE damage put in as well is just too much for MNM to stand up to. Quite frankly, I think MNM might already be out of this one. So early on into the game.
Yeah. Well,
we have to... Yeah, I think we have to definitely feel, okay, it's an MNM game. Anything can kind of happen, right? Or more simply, it's an MNM London game. Anything can happen. But so far, the trend has definitely been whichever team gets the lead in this series has closed out. Though 2 games of sample size, it's not the largest. But something about this game just feels a little bad when you're dealing with a 505 Viego, 303 LeBlanc.
Oh, Mankey. Has to flash.
Yeah.
That's now flashless on your Karma. And I really feel like if London want to take this series, I think they just need to lean on Mankey being support playing supports. He wasn't able to keep up with Joppa in that last game when he was actually on an AD carry, and he's so good at offering utility to the rest of his team. He's got a really amazing lineup of players on this team, and Aragon about to be on the receiving end of 2 of those amazing players as Beely 4-0-3 on the LeBlanc right now.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Mankey, resources and time weren't really invested into him when he was on that AD carry game. So I think this is just a playstyle that seems to suit and fit London a little better, in all honesty. Though I'm sure Mankey probably feels a certain way about it, being an AD carry player, actually. All right, now, 5,000 gold difference, 14 minutes. Map pressure just feels so one-sided for London. And even starting to try to think about having the conversation of how do London, or rather MNM, get back into this one. I don't know where to begin it. I don't know where you actually start. You know, the very common generic answer, South Fog, try and find a pick somewhere. But even if you do that, chances are London, as things have progressed, haven't really been out of position in an isolated situation. They've been very much together. And I think especially when you're talking about Karma, when you're talking about a lot of the mobility of some of these champions and tankiness in some cases, it's just so hard to lock down and kill many of them when a lot of your hard CC is only inside of Nords.
And this is exactly what I was saying as well. This was the problem this team had, is they're only relying on their Nautilus as they're engaged in their CC, really. So it's the problem that's kind of facing them. You've got the Serpent's Fang finished up onto Vango, a little bit too worried about all the shielding from the Karma. As Aragon might be looking to jump out onto Akaz. He has got the backup of Gadonica, but Akaz is stacking up that Gnar bar. Meanwhile, mid lane they're going for a siege, but Akaz is getting caught out. He gets the Gnar off in time, and he jumps away to safety. The tower crumbles. The teleport towards the top lane to defend it, but the hook is going to land. That's going to interrupt it for now, but they're looking for that turnaround. Can Jeppe find a big solar flare? Can't quite connect the Zenith Blade, but the Spectral Maw is going to be enough, and Clocks is going down.
Stops the teleport. MNM priority on the side lanes right now. Vango needs to get the hell out of dodge because he is being collapsed on. And I think
he's
just going to go for the execute.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, not bad. Commits for the wave. I mean, probably could have got out of it with his life, but at the end of the day, not going to.
He doesn't need to save a KDA, but 0-4.
Yeah, at this point, he doesn't need to save.
Okay to go for that 5th death.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I really actually bigged up the Lucian and the LeBlanc as 2 picks that both Vango and Beely heavily prioritize and really good on. But the LeBlanc so far has been the better performing champion in both games. We've seen Beely on it. Obviously, this is our first Lucian game of the series, but not particularly the greatest showing. And, you know, normally in this matchup, I do give the edge to the Lucian.
You would usually.
Normally, yeah.
However, it's not quite been the case. I think since that level 3, it is still, traditionally speaking, a bit of a volatile lane. And I think when you bring in a jungler on one side but not the other, you get lopsided matchups like this, where the LeBlanc just looks absolutely unkillable. And the Lucian, a little bit useless. And of course, a bit of a unorthodox build, but certainly not one that hasn't been tried or tested by some pro players. So let's see what MNM can do from this position, because it is quite the big deficit, but it does just kind of feel a little bit out of their hands now. It feels like from here they will have to rely a little bit on London to try and make some mistakes here and there. Just try and capitalize on them where they can.
Aragon just getting harassed a little bit by Akaz. He's going to go in for the Gnar as well, and Aragon has to be very, very careful. So there are multiple members from the sideline and leaning on this side of the map, and gold lead is very substantial. So NoName's going to make his way, and he's got that Rift Herald, and there's going to be a big injection of cash if they take this tower. Not going to use the Herald quite yet. Might just feel comfortable to be able to take it with this wave and maybe pop the Rift Herald down in the mid side. Dragon spawning up anytime soon as well, so looking like they're trying to just get priority mid side now as they rotate back through. NoName actually not even going to use this Herald. Did fumble that last one.
I mean, he's
you
got
can't
2
fumble
minutes
it if you don't place it.
True, but he does have 2 minutes to use it, so a lot of time still left, and camera angle kind of actually gives us a bit of a view of the London vision and control they have on the bot side as well. So MNM just really, can't play through this side of the map. Rightfully so, gonna go through the top side for now. And Vango has been pushing up here for a little while. Almost uncontested. Got the tower by himself. Beely.
Oh, he hit the chains. He's got the double bomb. Beely! That's what LeBlanc can do when she's 5-0.
Has the Medjais as well. Joppa, nothing he can do about that situation outside of just hoping the chain doesn't connect or flashing it.
He did have flash, but I think he just didn't want to waste the flash. I think he accepted his demise. And Vango, speaking of accepting demise, that chain's going to give a 6th kill and an 18th stack over to Beely on the LeBlanc with that Medjais. It's getting a little dicey, this game 3 for the side of MNM.
Yep, indeed it is. Will this be the point where maybe MNM kind of just say, Game 4, guys. Still can play another one. All right. Well. Yeah.
Well, NoName goes in for a quick stopwatch, but he's able to survive, and one more reset will be enough for him to survive this for now, but he's going to take that tower shot. He's going to survive just about here. That Blade the Ruin King able to sustain up as well.
They're going for it.
Rift Herald charge is going to get cancelled as the teleport comes in just to threaten Vango from trying to find himself a shutdown. So one shutdown would be bigger. Now Beely will just look to chase on. The chains go a little bit wide. The Cullen comes out as Akaz can look to tank this one up. And Vango not going to get slowed by this boomerang, but he is still going to get taken out nonetheless. The red buff from Beely slows him down, and NoName gives him a quick prick of the sword to secure himself his 7th kill.
Yeah. All right. So I think it's one of those games where we might have to start talking about the next one. Where do MNM go from here? Because definitely feels like Beely on the LeBlanc a little bit too comfortable. It feels. At least to me, London definitely as a unit look a lot better when they've got Mankey on this on these utility picks. At least today, they get Beely on something mobile like this LeBlanc.
Would you like to know a statistic?
Okay.
MNM, as an organization playing in League of Legends,
Yes.
have not made first place since 2017.
Wow.
Their last finals was the season, that was the UK Masters season 3. They beat MNM 3-2. Rifty was on that team. I mean, Candy Floss was on that team. That's how long ago it was. And then they made second in the ESL Premiership back in 2017. That was the last time they had a playoffs, was 2017. I'm just looking through their match history right now, their tournament results, and they haven't made a playoffs since 2017. So massive achievement for an org. Zaka's getting jumped onto, able to stopwatch it, and London are looking to deny them another finals as they're jumping in. Gadonica goes in for a quick stopwatch, and Joppa is stunned on the way through as his heart is broken. Beely secures a double kill, and Vango looking for the assassination, but that LeBlanc is way too fair. A triple kill picked up for Beely. And London are going to crack the base with the death timers this long. They may just be able to end the game. They don't really have a big minion wave, though. So it's going to be down to that Karma shielding. And Akas to do a bit of tanking here. But they're going to look to try and close this out and put themselves on match point versus MNM in these grand finals here. First tower crumbles. The next minion wave makes its way in, and the second one is quick to fall. The Nexus is exposed, and 22 minutes on the clock. London are looking to close this one out with a couple of extra kills. It's 2-1, baby, and London are in the lead.
London in the lead. Series point. Now, one more win, and they are the UKLC champions. This game, London favored, start to finish. MNM, we spoke about them being the dominant force in game 2. Well, game 3, this story was all about London. And boy, I mean, I think for talking about things like draft, maybe removing, BD's LeBlanc is a thing, because they first rotated it in the first game. It wasn't necessarily,
second rotation this game, right?
I think it was second rotation this game.
Yeah.
In the game 1, it wasn't necessarily like the end all be all, but in this game, the setup and the playing around the LeBlanc lane was realistically what gave London such a massive lead across the map. And
I really feel like No Name is just out jungling good on it.
There is also
series. That. I think No Name has had so much impact. In their first win, it was top lane. He played through top lane. This game, he played through mid lane. No Name is honestly the MVP right now for me for London. He has enabled 2 of his best players to play at their best, just off the back of him being very, very smart with his rotations and his ganks. I don't think Adonika's playing bad. I just think No Name seems to be a step ahead of him. Anyway, it's time for us to throw to a break. When we're back, we'll break that game down a little bit more. So we'll see you in a moment.